Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to another unboxing of the Versus System 2-player card game. This one is a little bit different. This is the All Elite Wrestling, or AEW. Anyone that has played any of the other Versus game systems or watching any of my unboxings, you are familiar with 90% of how this is going to work, because there's a few new mechanics in here that are specific to this game mode, or this world. So yeah, we'll hop into those in a minute. You can skip a little bit farther into the video if you want to get into the cards. But for everyone else who's maybe joining because you're a fan of the AEW wrestling or just wrestling in general, and you're like, hey, looking for a wrestling game, what is this? I'm going to do a brief explanation of how the game is played. Not a full in-depth how to play, just an idea of what it is for you. One thing I do want to say is kind of a little bit crazy about this is, so the Versus system, the idea of it is generally supposed to be a one-on-one player or a two-player card game. You can play tag team, team matches, like 2v2. You can play 4-player all versus all. There's some other different modes you can play like that. There's some additional cards from other things that add like boss battles or story battles, which have like multiple matches in a row. Some cool things like that as well, which are not in this set. Another thing to note is that is also divided generally between photographic, which is movies, TV shows, and video games and stuff like that, which is AEW. They have The Boys, Alien vs. Predator, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, X-Files, and you can see and plus all the Marvel Cinematic Universes, because this is designed around comic book stuff with Marvel to begin with, or the illustrated stuff, which is all the different Marvel comic books. As well as any other comic book series they might eventually or possibly add. So I just want to make this is kind of interesting, because you can see like superheroes fighting each other, and then again you get to the TV series, you have Alien, Predator, that's very combat, fighting oriented. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, again, very combat oriented. The Boys, superhero stuff. So that's why some of them are odd, like X-Files is kind of weird to mix into that realm, but then this is wrestling, which isn't. Yeah, it's battling, definitely, but it's not like superhero battling. But it kind of is. You know, it's fake. Not fake. Fake as in, like, obviously superheroes don't exist and don't have powers. But I mean, it's like dramatized actors playing characters, which are kind of like they're in their own rights, superheroes of this fictional universe of wrestling, right? Like, in their thing, these are actors playing their roles, but in that role, they are their own kind of superpowered characters. You have special attacks and all that stuff, which is really cool. I've not watched much AEW, or I've not seen much. I haven't watched any AEW wrestling. I'm going to know some of these wrestlers just from watching wrestling over the years, following along here and there, but I'm not going to know who all of them are. Alright, so I just want to do a quick breakdown here. For this game, I do want to also just mention on here, this is listed as 14 plus for the game, as well as it says, based on television, it is rated TV 14. Just because of some of the images of the actors or the wrestling maneuvers or things referenced might be, you know, for a little bit higher age group. I just want to see if the Marvel set, I have one of the boxes here. Yeah, Marvel sets are listed as 14 plus as well. Like The Boys is listed as 17, so there's a little bit more graphic content. Alright, so here's a basic idea of how the game is played. So here's a basic idea of your table, is what you're going to do is have a main character, which will have either a silver or gold card, level 1, level 2. You can level them up, make them stronger. You'll have one character that's running your deck. That's the character you need to protect or defeat your opponent's main character. That's your wrestler. And then you have a front row and a back row. The front rows can attack other front rows. Back rows are kind of like support, unless they have a ranged ability. I don't know how many characters in this game will have ranged, because they don't have like superpowers that shoot things, but maybe. Obviously, some are going to, because the way the game is designed. So then some characters have ranged attacks that can attack over a front row, or from a front row can attack a back row. Characters in the front row protect back row. So your front row is like your first line of defense. They're going to attack your opponent's front line, and then they're going to protect the characters in the back. If all your front row is ever defeated, now the back row is vulnerable to be attacked. The third row down here is you have your resource row. This is where you use to pay for the cost to put characters into play to have them come into the game. Really neat mechanic on this is it involves two different types of cards. Either you have actual special location cards, like Double or Nothing here, which you can play. They also have symbols for activating special abilities, which are just used for those purposes. Or you can play any other card in your deck face down. So it's really neat. Every card becomes usable that way. So you have goods you're going to either attack as a single characters or multiple characters of the same team can team up with each other and attack, trying to defeat your opponent's either supporting characters or main characters to get them off the board. And if they take damage, they get damage counters, which will have some damage counters here. They take enough to deal their health, then they're defeated. They can also gain plus counters, plus and minus counters to boost or reduce their attacks. On the opposite side, we have triples for, when the counters start getting too much. And that's more or less the idea of the game. You're just trying to, set up your combos and your team to be able to attack and defeat your opponent's main character. They're going to be trying to protect them, but they're probably going to get them up into combat sometime because the main characters are generally have more health than everybody else. They might not be as strong as some of the other characters, but they do have some cool abilities. There's other little nuances in the game as well. I'm not going to get into too much in here. That involve, you can... there's a uniqueness rule where you can only have one in the game character. So again, here we had Adam Page. I cannot, if he's my main character, I can't play another Adam Page card, but I can use one from my hand to boost him up and make him stronger. You can also mix and match decks. There's basically a good deck and an evil deck. In this one, it's actually listed into baby faces and the heels, which are the good guys and bad guys, just in case you're playing with other games. Cards will reference those symbols, as well as you can mix and match these decks later on. Another really cool thing with the way the game works, main characters are only going to have one copy of each card, so it's all you're ever going to need in your deck. But for almost every other type of card, for supporting characters, for example, like Sting, we're always going to get 4. You're not going to necessarily use all 4 in every deck. They are going to be useful for building up your deck. For example, here is a example starter deck to have. They have Dr. Britt Baker. So he's your main character. You're going to have 2, 3 copies, 4 copies, 2 copies, 3 copies, 1 copy there. For some equipment, you're going to have 1 of each, 3, some 4s, some 3s. So it's just going to depend on how you want to build your deck. We can give you 4 copies because that's the max you can have in a deck. This gives you the advantage of picking this up. You can take one of the 4 or 5 main characters from each deck. You can build multiple different decks at a time, potentially. Or if you're making your own, you can keep making different decks over and over time to buy the set multiple times. And then they have characters that are listed as easy, medium, and hard. And there's some other cool abilities and stuff we'll get into as we go along. Plus some new stuff for this game in itself. Alright, so let's read about this quick. It says, All Elite Wrestling brings a versus system 2-player game into the professional wrestling world. This 200-card starter set features the most iconic wrestlers in AEW, including MJF, Chris Jericho, Jade Cargill, and many other big rivalries. Get up close and personal. Entourages get involved in brawls break out in the AEW ring. Build a unique team of wrestlers and using an attack variety of fighting skills, special abilities, and wrestling skills. Grapple with your opponent, take them down and pin them to the mat. We defeat all comers and rise to the ranks to become a champion of AEW. So yeah, pretty cool. So let's go ahead and hop into this. I just want to get right into this and see what we have. Alright, so we're going to start with Adam Page here. We're going to start with the babyface characters. So this is his level 1 character, his symbol. So he's his main character. He also has a subtype called Champion, which in itself does not do anything. But there might be things that reference it. Here we have his attack is 3, his defense is 4, he has a health of 6. He does have a little wing and a target icon that are blacked out. If you get characters that have those skills, they will be highlighted. Let's see if I can find one really quick. So he'll have one that has range. So highlight if they have them. You can also gain abilities, you'll get them. I'm not going to go over all these stats for every card. Just want to show off for the first one so you have an idea. So your main character starts the game out already in play. Then the rest of the characters you have to play over time. So he has the Hangman ability, which says in any time, which is a little purple circle, during combat, he can pay a green symbol. So if he has this location out, this green symbol, he can turn this face down to use that symbol. And you only have so many of these each game, so you're only going to use these so often. But you can put -1/-1 counters on an enemy character in that combat. The character loses and can't gain keywords and superpowers this turn. So keywords will be like special, like words that are highlighted in the text. Superpowers are their abilities. They're going to list those same terminologies they had for all the Marvel stuff that came out, rather than try and change them up for here and say maneuvers and this, because that way they're synergizing a little bit easier. So, Obnoxious Millennial Cowboy, or Anxious Millennial Cowboy, level up 4, so it takes 4 level up tokens to change. At the start of each enemy turn, he gains 1 XP. This is very simple. 4 turns later, he's going to level up. Now, this is a really cool thing, because it means you don't have to do anything special to level him up. But, on the other hand, it means there's no way to level him up quicker. So, when he levels up, he becomes level 2. His attack and defense go up from 3 to 4 to 6 to 7, but he keeps the same health. He keeps his first ability, but he also gains his level up ability, now changed to Buckshot Lariat. Main, pay a yellow, days any number of enemy characters Adam Park could melee attack. Oh, cool. So he just gonna jump through and take out a bunch of guys. That is really neat. What does Daze do? Daze says, in effect, it would stun a character without the character gaining a wound. It works if the character gains stun always, except for adding a wound counter. What does stun mean exactly? Because I probably didn't explain that in the previous part of the video. So, when you attack a character and you do damage to them, they stun them. They get flipped face down. So that means they're stunned for the turn. They can't be used. They also lose any counters that were on them. +1, -1 counters. And then they take a point of damage. So this is basically like turn them down so they can't be used or attacked till the end of your opponent's next turn, when they can get turned back up, but they don't take damage for it by dazing them. So you're not hurting them, but you are at least eliminating their counters or getting them off the board, so you don't have to worry about them blocking and stuff. So that's pretty cool. Alright, up next we have Y2J Chris Jericho, who has Floyd the Bat. Chris Jericho starts the game equipped with a baseball bat equipment, counts as one of the 60 cards in your deck. And then Judas Effect, level up 2. At the start of your main phase, if both a babyface and a heel supporting characters are on your side, Chris Jericho gains 1 XP. So it's not going to take him very long to level up. So I'm going to jump ahead, and we're going to go find this baseball bat. Maybe? Is it in the other deck? Is it in the heel deck? He's a good guy, but it's in the heel deck. That'd be kind of fun. Yeah. Alright. So we're going to go ahead and jump through and look at this. So we have an equipment card, which has 1. This says babyface or heel, so that means they can both play it. It says 1 of a kind. You only have 1 card of this in your deck. So there's only 1 card total in this set, because you can only have 1 card total. Grand Slam. Well, the baseball bat is ready. Equipped character may exhaust it to gain 4 attack during a melee combat anytime you could take an action. Neat. So basically, you can use this to buff up an attack really quick. So that's kind of cool. So he starts with that. That's interesting. And then the Judas Effect, as we just saw. So when he levels up, he has Le Champion, so he gets a brand new ability. Well, Chris Jericho has the AEW World Championship belt equipped. It doesn't get KO'd while he's stunned. I'm going to save that one for the end, because we have a couple of champions. No, actually, let's find that, and let's look at that right away, too. Because there's a bunch of effects that are going to have to do with that. And then he has the Walls of Jericho. So the Walls of Jericho have combat, pay a red. Choosing exhausted enemy character in combat, it can't strike this combat. Cool. So you get take out one of your opponent's characters per turn. Alright, so here's the AEW World Championship belt. Again, can be either group, also one of a kind. Gotta earn it. Equips only to a champion. So that'd be up at the top of their card. They have a champion. So still limit who can use it. Gold looks good on me. At the start of your main phase, put 3 1/1 counters on an equipped character. Cool. So the other one, the baseball bat, like, boosts up a character once, but this one will put a bunch of things on them. So that's pretty cool as well. Alright, I'll just set that back off to the side there. But it says, yeah. So when he's stunned, it doesn't get KO'd. So otherwise, that's a way to get equipment off of characters. Cool. Alright. We have John Moxley. It's Paradigm Shift. Pay a blue. Is there even one of those in this deck? That's interesting. There is. Wow, that's actually kind of cool. So they have basic energy types. I haven't looked at these before, so that's interesting. So yeah, we have 6 power types. We have energy, intellect, might, skill, alien, and humanity. Most games always include these 4. That's like the basic 4, and then these 2 are like this extra, which we're putting, like in the Marvel sets, they're in the Fantastic Four sets. Otherwise, they're an Alien and Predator. But it's interesting, we got rid of energy, which makes sense. That these characters aren't going to produce energy, right? They're humans. Said they get humanity symbols. So that's really cool. It's a neat little thing I didn't notice before. So this is also one thing if you're ever trying to play this game and you're looking for maybe a cheap way to versus and pick up some extra Earth ones. Here we go. So choose an enemy character in combat. Switch that character's attack and defense with John Moxley this turn. Interesting. So if they're really powered, he can steal their stuff. Death Rider, level up 8. When an enemy character gets KO'd, John Moxley gains 1 XP and another XP for each other character in that KO pile. Alright, so yeah, KO's the first one, he'll gain 1. KO's the second character, now he'll gain 2. KO's the third one, now he'll gain 3. Interesting. Take him a while to level up, but it's definitely going to happen. When he levels up, he keeps his paradigm shift. He gains unscripted violence. Pay a green. Choose a random challenge match you haven't chosen in this game. Alright, I'm not going to go over those right now. That's a brand new thing added to the game, but it adds an extra beginning of the game effect that's going to affect your characters. It's a really cool idea. Alright, we have Darby Allin. It's Sting. Search your deck for a babyface Sting supporting character and put him onto your side. Interesting. Nothing's over till you're underground. Level up 3. When Darby Allin gets struck in combat, he gains 1 XP. So he wants to attack, right? So he gains some extra XP. When he levels up, he keeps the It's Sting as well. And it says Coffin Drop. Put 3 +1/+1 counters on him, and he has flying this turn. Nice. That's pretty cool. I always like how, in this game, how every character levels up very differently and plays very differently. So building a deck with each character is going to definitely make you change. You're not going to just be like, oh, I want to play as, for example, Chris Statlander. You're not going to watch her out for Chris Jericho. And just like, oh, it's the exact same deck. I just changed main characters. Because they're going to play very differently. Alright, so we have Night Fever. KO a face-down enemy supporting character. Nice. Just stun them and you take them out. And More Than a Woman, level up 3. When a Earth location appears on your side, she gains 1 XP. So yeah, you definitely want to look for those special locations. So yeah, this one you're going to want to include those. Where if like you're playing as another character, you might include one of the other colors and not these as many of these, because you might not really use them. Alright, so it's Area 451. She has flying and invade this turn. She can't be struck while attacking a back row character. Oh, that's cool. So she can fly over the front row to attack a back, and she can't be attacked. Alright, our last main character for the baby faces is Thunder Rosa. I do love how they put some of the females in here as well. That's really cool. La Mira Mira. When Thunder Rosa wins this combat, she may immediately attack another character in the defending row. Nice. From the Graveyard of Tijuana. When one or more characters are put into the KO from anywhere, she gains that many XP. Cool. She could gain up really fast. And then we have her level 2. Dia de las Muertes. Put a supporting character from any KO pile onto your side. Remove it from the game at the end of the turn. Ooh, that's neat. Especially like a coming to play ability. Like, hey, when this character's played, give a bonus these. And then they can just go away. Or La Mera Mera wins combat, she immediately attacks another character. That's interesting because usually the top one stays up there and it switches down. That's cool. Alright, we're going to look at our supporting characters. These are like the crux of the rest of the deck. And we're going to have 4 copies of each. So unless I say otherwise, we're going to have 4 and I'm just going to put 1 copy up. So we have good old Sting, the icon. When Sting appears, search your deck for deck, hand, or KO pile for baseball bat equipment. Put it on him for free and reveal it. Or reveal it and put it into your hand. Cool. So really cheap. Don't let you dig them out. When the other guy plays him, you dig him. So you're going to be playing this baseball bat a bunch. That's neat. Ooh, let's see if I'm... So... Oh, they just had some of these in the wrong order. Hikaru Shida has dodge. She can't be ranged attacked. Interesting. And Kendo Stick. She has +3 attack and stealth. She can melee attack protected characters. Nice. Cool. The Luchasaurus. Alright, so this says one of the new mechanics of the game. So we have Tag Team Jurassic Express. During combat, you can power up Luchasaurus with Jungle Boy. When you do, Luchasaurus gains Ferocious this combat. While melee combat, he strikes before characters without Ferocious. An extinction event. While wounded, Luchasaurus has +2/+2 and monstrous. While he's being melee team attacked, he can strike each attacker. That's really cool. Gains a bonus, he can hit everybody. The tag team ability is brand new though, so usually you can only power up with the same card. So he could use other Luchasaurus cards. If he has them on the table, you can't play multiple versions. He could discard one to basically give himself a 1/1 counter. So what they did here is if you use your teammate instead, it gives him a special ability. So it's kind of neat because it lets you like, it lets you have a team up with other characters. We need if they add this into the Marvel set as well. But lets you have other characters for that reason. You don't have to have them, but they make having other characters really cool. I'm not going to just hunt down Jungle Boy. He's in here somewhere, but we'll get to him. They go in order by power level. So we haven't, he must be a higher power. We have Danhausen, who has very nice, very evil. Danhauser is good and evil everywhere. This power can't be turned off. So he's still technically only a babyface, but if anything ever refers to good or evil, he's always both. Be cursed. Choose an enemy character and point at it. Then choose one of the following effects at random. That character can attack on its next turn. That character can strike this turn. Stun that character. They must be immune to curses. That's kind of neat. Penta El Zero Amigo. I may have butchered that name. Tag Team the Lucha Brothers. During combat, we can power up Penta with Ray Phoenix. When you do, heal a wound from him. Oh, cool. Fear Factor. Moving enemy main character to its front row. And Zero Amigo. When attacking with a character, Penta strikes a triple his attack. Yeah. Blast. Zero means blast. I don't know what Amigo stands for, but I watch Bleach, so I know some Spanish. Yeah, triple his attack. That's cool. And then moving enemy characters front row so he can bring someone right up to the front and then triple attack him. That's neat. Claudio Castagnoli. Giant Swing. When Claudio appears, put a -1/-1 counter on an enemy character. If it's ready, exhaust it, then put another one on it. Nice. That's pretty cool. Eddie Kingston. Who has... They have some of these cards mixed up, and it's driving me nuts. because they're not all 4 copies next to each other. The Mad King. Any Kingston has +3/+3 while in combat with a supporting enemy character. So, right, if he's attacking a main character, he's decent. He's a 5/5. He attacks a supporting character, he's probably going to destroy them because he's 8/8. That's pretty fun. Jungle Boy. So we saw him earlier. We saw his partner earlier. So you power up Jungle Boy with Luchasaurus. When you do, he gets monstrous, since he can melee team attack, he strikes each attacker. And Snare Trap. Stun enemy attacker. Jungle Boy can only pay for this power by discarding a location from his hand. Interesting. So you can't wait till they're on your thing. But that way you can surprise guys, because they won't know it's there. Sammy Guevara. Who has leap. So on his turn, he has flying. And Spanish God. Sammy has pounce and mobile. He can't be struck by exhausted defenders. Cool. So if he attacks an exhaust character, he can't take damage. And once per turn during your main phase, but not during combat, you may move into your front or back row. Neat. That's awesome. Ray Phoenix. So here's our Lucha Brothers tag team. So when you power him up with Penta, he strikes a triple attack this turn. The Man of 1,000 Lives. Ray Phoenix has 1,000 health. This power remains on while he is face down. So he cannot be defeated unless you do something that straight up gets rid of him. Or if you somehow deal 1,000 damage, but good luck. Leap, he has attack while on your turn. That's cool. That's a very crazy but cool effect. We have Samoa Joe. Backhand chops. With Samoa Joe is in melee combat, each enemy character has -3 defense. And Muscle Buster, where Samoa Joe is in melee combat with an enemy supporting character, gets stunned by having 0... When he's in melee combat, an enemy character gets stunned by having 0 defense, KOing it. Cool. So if you can somehow, with fighting him, drop your opponent's defense to 0 and it gets stunned, he's got 0 defense, it's automatically gets stunned. You can just straight up KO it. So any guy that has 3 or less, he's automatically going to take out. But if you can add some more counters, that's pretty cool. We have Orange Cassidy, who has Freshly Squeezed. We have 6 or more recruit points. You may pay a yellow and a red to recruit Orange Cassidy instead of his recruit cost. In Orange Punch, you can pay both to stun a defender. Neat. So you can get them out a little bit cheaper. You still have to have 6 points. You could pay them that way, but you could play that if you want to use them the other way. So you could pay another 6 cost guy and bring him out. Cool. We have Keith Lee, which is our last supporting character for the baby faces, who has Toss. When Keith Lee appears, choose another character on his side to gain flying this turn. And then, for he is limitless. Ready him, he can use his power any number of times each turn. Yeah, definitely cool. Some really cool abilities on these characters. Alright, so then we have Plot Twists, which are cards that we're going to get to use basically maneuvers and stuff. So we have 4 copies of each of these as well, unless otherwise noted. So we have Dynamite. In combat, if this is a melee combat, choose a character on your side in combat. When it strikes an enemy supporting character, stun that enemy character. We have Elevation. Awesome, they jump up above someone. Main, choose a character on your side. It has +2/+2 in leap. If it already has leap, it gets +2/+2. Instead, put counters on it. Ooh, that's fun. So it's a temporary boost, which lets them attack the back row. And it gives them a little bonus, but if they've already had leap, so they're probably one of the luchador characters, they just instead gain 2 permanent counters. So that is cool. We have Pop. Choose a supporting character on your side. In combat, when it wins this combat, put 3 +1/+1 counters on it, then heal a wound from it. Awesome. So there's a mention in here that says winning combat, which is a new kind of semi-mechanic for the game. Basically what it is to win a combat, hold pull up the rules here quick, and I'll just briefly explain it. It just says, if you make it through combat without getting stunned, at least one enemy character has been stunned. So you have to survive the combat without being stunned. You can survive it and take damage. You just can't be stunned, and you have to stun your opponent. Now, this can have another effect that stuns the character, or if you're in a team attack and your teammates get stunned but you don't, it still wins. But as long as your character is unstunned and the opponent gets stunned. So that's a pretty neat effect. Alright, then we have some basic locations. So we have 4 copies of this. This is the right tunnel. So this one has, again, the babyface symbol, and it means when this is in play, a babyface character can use this to pay for any of the 4 symbols. This is as opposed to our basic locations, which each one only represents one symbol, so you have to pay this card face down to do one of them things. The special locations let that group or a team of characters be able to use it for any of the 4. So we have revolutions. This is kind of neat. These are the different areas of the game. I'm glad they changed the names from not being like the marble ones, which are, or the superior ones, which are training ground and laboratories. These are kind of cool. So you have revolution, which has humanity. We have full gear for genius, all out for strength, and double or nothing for training or targeting. Now, there's 4 copies of each of these in this particular babyface deck, and then there's also, if we look at the heel deck, there's also 4 copies of each there. So you have 8 total for each one. You only have 4 in a deck, but they have enough for each deck, so you can play each deck separately without having to, like, share them. Alright, then the last couple of cards we have in here, we have, for this set, we have a table, which came in this deck. Now, again, these have both symbols on them, so they can be, every card can be mixed and matched with either deck. So you can pull this out and they're like, hey, these are the ones designed for this one, these other ones are for that, but you can, again, mix and match all of these. Like, because this one also had the championship belt. But again, that might be just as useful on the other set. They just wanted to have some for this set, some for that. So a player could pick up one half of the deck and make their deck, and then another player could pick up theirs. So there's only one of these in the entire deck, because that's what it is. It's the table, broken in half in combat. If an equipped character is defending a melee attack, stun the attacker and KO the table. Nice. So you get to take out that. Then we have 2 more special cards, which add a brand new rule to the game. These are challenge matches. The challenge matches are a brand new thing to the Versus system, which we're going to look at the rules here quick. It says, when you make a deck starting with an AEW main character, you also get to bring a challenge match out of the game pile. These are not counted as part of your 60-card deck. It is public, any player can look at, and fixed always includes the same 4 challenge match cards. So it's interesting that they stuck one in one side, one on the other, because it's always going to have the exact same 4 cards, because that's all we have. Now, again, if they ever made an expansion to this game for some reason, it'd be really cool if they did. They might have to adjust that to have more cards in there. At the start of the first turn of the game, regardless of which player goes first, you will choose one of your challenge match cards. Put this card's face up on your side of the game so all players can see it. It does not count as being in play. It can't be interacted with during the game. Your other cards won't be used. If 2 or more players have an AEW main character, you would take turns choosing your challenge match. Start the first player and then proceed clockwise. Your challenge match grants you a keyword power to AEW characters while they're on your side, including your main character. So, this is kind of interesting because that means if you're both playing the game, you're just gonna, the idea is here, I think, because there's 2 players each, if I'm playing one deck and my opponent's playing the other, we're each only have 2 cards to choose from. But if you're taking this entire deck, I have mine, and I'm playing against my opponent who also bought a starter deck, then you each have 4 cards to choose from. Or if you're playing in a tournament, you'd have 4 cards. So I'm just going to look at the 2 right now and look at the other 2 when we get to that part of the deck. So we have a ladder match. This is really good because that's wrestling, has all these really cool, unique matches. So your character is a babyface or a heel. You may choose one challenge match at the start of the game, rung by rung. This game, babyface and heel characters on your side have Fearless. While attacking a main character, they strike with double their attack. So hey, that might be really cool. And then we have the Lights Out match. So snuff them out. The game, babyface and heel character on your side have Berserker. When they attack, put a +1/+1 counter on them. Yeah, so it's kind of neat. It's another interesting way to like boost up your particular deck based on how you want to play it, right? Alright, so we're going to look at the heel cards. These are the villains of the series. We're going to start with Adam Cole. So it's boom. Pay a green, Adam Cole gets +1 in this attack in this combat for each resource on your side. So as the game goes on, it's just going to get better. Bay. Level up 9. When a supporting character appears, Adam Cole gains 1 XP for each of its printed powers. Cool. So most of them have 1, some have 2. It doesn't matter which side they are. So basically, the more characters get played, the quicker he's going to level up. And then he becomes from 1/6 to a 2/12. Keeps his boom ability, but he has Panama's Surprise. Until your next turn, Adam Cole has flying and pays 1 less power symbol for the first time he uses each of his superpowers each turn. Oh, so the first time he can get that +1 for free, and then he can basically gain more. Cool. Bryan Danielson, the American Dragon. Bryan Danielson has flight and range this turn. The Perfect Wrestler, level up 2. When he wins a combat, he gains 1 XP. And then when he boosts up, he has the American Dragon again, but he has Kick Your Head In. Combat green. When Bryan Danielson wins this combat, the enemy player discards 2 random cards. Oh, discarding randomness? You're mean. You are a villain. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. She says role model. Put a +1/+1 counter on your supporting characters on your side, equal to your attack. Okay, cool. So right now currently it'd be 3, but if she can power up, it'll be even more. And the Doctor will see you now. Level up 4. When a character gets wounded, she gains 1 XP. Doesn't care who or how, she'll gain her XP. Then as she levels up, she has Teacher Role Model. She has a 6/60 now. She has put 6 counters on a guy. And Lockjaw. Choose an enemy character in combat and put a -1/-1 counter for each printed power it has. Cool. So 1 to potentially 3. I don't think I've ever seen a character generally with more than 3. Jade Cargo. Jade Brand. Resolve the combat. What does that mean? I think it just auto ends the combat without doing anything else. See if there's some extra rules in here. It says green like money. At the start of your main phase, Jade gains 1 XP for each green fist location on all sides. Alright, yeah, Jade here. So she has Jade Brand. Resolve the combat immediately. This means the game skips ahead to the part of combat where characters strike each other. There are no more opportunities to play plot twists, use superpowers, or power up. Okay, cool. So it doesn't end the combat. It just basically you're like, no, we're fisticuffing this and you can't add anything extra to it. Now, the thing is, you could potentially like play an ability to boost your character up, and your opponent's like, I'm not going to do anything. Like, oh, I'm going to play this card. And you could be like, boom, I'm going to play this and just end it right there. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Awesome. Alright. I'm sorry, I was just seeing if there's any other abilities you need to look at quick. There she goes. So she has Jaded on this one. You have to pay 6 green. Okay, so you only get 4 normally, and then you have your 4 special locations. So getting this out is going to be crazy. But here's what it says. KO an enemy main character that she has stunned in combat this turn. So if you can stun them, and then you have that there, so if your opponent ever sees 6 of those out there, they have to make sure you do not stun them, but specifically she has to stun them. So that does make it a little bit interesting. Malachi Black. Skilled Striker. Malachi strikes with 2 additional times this combat. That's a really neat ability, this multiple striking. And then House of Black. When an evil character's on your side, he gains 1 XP. Neat. So this would be like a character that you probably wouldn't mix with other characters as much. Like you wouldn't mix the baby faces because you'd be a lot harder to level up. Although we get that one guy that was always evil as well. So it's always a possibility. Black Mist. Choose an enemy character he could melee attack. It can't attack on its next turn. He can use his power any number of times each turn. Neat. And then we have Skilled Striker. Attacks it 2 additional times during combat. Cool. Our last main character for the heals is MJF. Sulk of the Earth. Spend any amount of recruit points. Search your deck for an evil character at the cost or less. The cost with that cost or less, and put it into your hand. Oh, okay. Spend that many points. Okay. Find a character and put it on your side. Better than you. When MJF attacks, the attacker's total is greater than the defender's attacker. He gains 1 XP. Interesting. I do want to check something out here quick. So, of our main characters, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We had 6 of them, and 5 of the 6 were champions on the other side. On this side, we have 1, 2, 3. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 6 characters, but only 3 of them are champions. So there's champions on the evil side. Interesting. His level up is And You Know It. For the rest of the game, when he attacks, he gains attack this combat until his attack is higher than the defender's attack, and he can only use his power once each game. Nice, so basically it's an auto win. And Dynamite, Diamond, Ring. Pay 3 red. For the rest of the game, he wounds a defender in combat. It gains an additional wound. He can only use his power once each game. It makes sense, but you only have to use it once, and then it always happens. That's pretty crazy. Cool. That's a really neat card there. Alright. For our supporting characters, again, 4 copies of each. We have Hook. Send Hook. During your build phase, if a babyface or heel supporting character appeared this turn, you may put Hook from your hand onto your side. Awesome, just to come in really easy. Red Rum. Choose an enemy character in combat to get -3 attack. Nice. Nyla Rose. Who has the Native Beast. When she appears or recovers, she gains +4 attack. She starts with 0, but she can temporarily keep gaining 4. That's pretty fun. Matt Hardy. Big money. Build green. Gain a recruit point. Matt Hardy can use his power any number of times each turn. Nice. If you have a bunch of green, you can help spend it to gain some extra points, get out some bigger characters quicker. We have Andre Idolo. Leap he is flying this turn, and Moonsault. When Andre leaps over at least one enemy character, he gets +3/+3 attack. That's fun. So if he uses his leap ability, he gains bonuses. Cool. Ethan Page. For some reason, I only have 2 copies of. So we'll have to see if the other 2 got mixed in somewhere else later on, or did I accidentally... Oh yeah, I just accidentally grabbed them from somewhere else. So yeah, we have 4 copies. They just got mixed in, they're not always in order for some reason. Tag Team Men of the Year. During combat, you can power up Ethan with Scorpio Sky when you do draw a card. The other guys getting attacks, and this drawing a card's pretty good too, though. All Ego when Ethan Page can only team attack with Scorpio Sky. Okay, so interesting. Cool. We'll get to him. We have Ricky Starks, who has Leap. We have more leaping on here. Absolute combat. This combat, he gains attack equal to his defense and defense equal to his attack. So if he's a 3/6, he becomes a 9/9. Ooh, that could be fun. If you have a big defense booster, also becomes a big attacker. Neat. Matt Jackson, who has Tag Team Young Bucks. During combat, you can power up Matt Jackson with Nick Jackson. When you do, put 2 -1 counters on an enemy character in combat. I really like this team-up ability. Whatever it takes, whenever another character on the side gains 1 or more wounds, it doesn't gain any wounds instead. Oh, neat. A reaction ability, you can basically heal your team. That's cool. Then on the other hand, we have the other side. I guess maybe he's probably on this side. Not really sure which side he's supposed to be standing on. Is we have Nick Jackson, who has, whenever you put 2 +1/+1 counters on Nick Jackson. Cool. So he boosts up, and so you power him up with the other guy, he gets an additional +2/+2 counters. And Super Kick Party. If Nick Jackson's in your front row and ready, exhaust him, and at least one other ready character in your front row. If you do, strike all enemies in the front row. Awesome. So if you boost him up, now he's a 9/9, and you can attack all enemies. That's cool. Alright, we have Scorpio Sky, other tag team members. So 2 members for each team. Man of the Year, power ups with Ethan Page. When you do, each enemy player discards a random card. Oh, 1 draws, 1 forces the other guy to discard. He has Leap and Head Games, rearrange an enemy player's formation. The bad guys are all about like leaping and manipulation, I've noticed. Good guys are all about just gaining power, it looks like. Lance Archer, Murder Hawk Monster. While Lance Archer is defending against a melee team attack, he strikes double his attack against each attacker. Miro the Redeemer. When Miro appears, enemy characters can't strike this turn. Wardlow has Power Bomb Symphony. Main. Pay a green. Wound an enemy supporting character. Wardlow can use this power any number of times on the same character each turn. Nice, and it's only a supporting character, but still, that's pretty cool. So again, if you're playing some of these guys that have green, like he can use it multiple times, you're probably not going to want to include a bunch of other guys that have green abilities, because otherwise his is less effective. Our last supporting character is Kenny Omega, 1 Winged Angel. When Kenny Omega appears, each enemy player chooses a face-up character on his side. He stuns those characters. And the Elite, any combat, if a character on your side is defending, cancel the attack. Cool. Alright, so then we have some plot twists. So we have Dark. We have 4 copies of this. Main, choosing character on your side, it gains +2/+2 in stealth. It can melee attack protected characters. So I always like to check on these because it's really neat. Is a lot of the times the hero side versus the villain side, good versus evil, they will have very similar abilities that go back and forth. So I just wanted to see if these guys had one that worked very similar to that. Yeah, so the babyface side gets +2/+2 in leap, and if they had leap, they gain bonuses. This one gets them +2/+2 in stealth. So yeah, not exactly like opposite, but it kind of works very similar. Then they also have Heat, which says, choose a supporting character on your side in combat. When it wins combat, put a +1/+1 counter on it. It then strikes a character who wasn't in combat. Choose a supporting character on your side. When it wins combat, put a plus. So if it wins, it gains a bonus. Then it strikes another character. And then the good guys had Pop. It says when it wins a combat, it gets +3/+3, then heal it. So, like, the bad guys win, they're going to gain a little bonus, but they're going to use it to attack another guy, and hey, we're going to take advantage of that. The good guys, they win, they just gain extra bonus from cheering, so that's kind of cool. And then the other one we had for the heals were Rampage. Choose a character on your side of the combat to get +3/+3 in combat. After it resolves, put in -1/-1 on. So you get a big boost, but then they take a little dip. And the hero side doesn't have anything like that. They just strike and then you do a supporting character. So again, not always necessarily back and back. Back to forth opposites. Alright, so these guys, the good guys had the right tunnel. Bad guys get the left tunnel. Which is their special one. Then, of course, we have all our basic Revolution, Full Gear, All Out, and Double or Nothing. So I'm not going to go through all those again. So the last couple of things we had to go through. We have our equipment. We've already looked at our baseball bat. But then we also have the chair. I just want to check something here. Sorry. I moved all my cards around. Yeah. So we've had the table and the belt. And now we have the chair, baseball bat, and we have a chair. Surprised the turnbuckle wasn't one of them. So the chair gives us one of a kind. We only have one copy total. Hard Cold Steel. Combat. It says melee combat. Equipped character has +6/+6 this turn and can use the power any number of times each turn. Cool. So there's also a thing to note, though. So if you're playing this again, like you buy this for you and your friend or whoever to play this game, each person can play one side. But you're not going to have enough chairs and tables for each person to have a copy in their deck. There's only one per the entire box set. Would have been kind of neat if they would have included 2 of these 1 per. Just that way if you want to make a deck for each side. But I get why they don't, because they haven't for anything else. Alright, then our last 2 cards are going to be our challenge matches. We have ladder match. So if you play one of these characters, you just run by run. Oh, whoops. I think... Oh, is this going to be the exact same 4 for all of them? Or did I mess up here? Let me check. Sorry, yeah. So the good side of the deck had Lights Out and Ladder Match. But again, they can be mixed and matched with all of them. If you're playing the game, you're supposed to have all 4 of them in. The heel side had, with its deck, it had Steel Cage Match. So it says Lock the Door. The game had... Character on the side had Dodge, so they can't be ranged attacked. And we have the Texas Death Match. Which would be give them lethal. If they would win a defending supporting character, KO it. So that's kind of neat. So it's, you have 4 different cards that let you do extra stuff. I think this is a really neat idea. With I like the championship thing. It only has the belt so far. It'd be kind of neat if they had, again, an expansion for this would be really cool. Like so far, like all the other, I gotta say with any of this stuff, like Buffy or X-Files or The Boys, like it'd be kind of neat if they came back to this. This one, I think they could actually run with a little bit longer. Even maybe if they could get licenses to the other wrestling things. I don't know how that functions, if they could get WWE or go old school and get like WCW or ECW or any of that stuff in there. I don't know how all the licensing for all that works. But yeah, there's some really cool stuff in there. You could get other different matches, more characters in there, obviously. But yeah, some more of these challenge matches would be kind of cool because each one just gives you a different ability to your entire characters. You can definitely change how your game works. So yeah, there is one last thing we wanted to look at in this mode, or in this game, was a new mode they listed. If I can find where it talks about it. Illustrated, deck building, supporting characters, rules, reference. It was on like one of the last pages. Aha. Alternative game mode. Alright, this is the last thing I want to bring up is the new game mode they mentioned. I don't usually talk about the game modes too much unless they're significant. So we have Arena mode for 2 to 4 players. A recently debuted game mode, Arena mode, spices up your battles by fighting your enemies in a variety of different AEW locations. Setup. Collectively choose 1 copy of any number of locations with different names and shuffle them together to make an arena pile. The stack can include special and basic locations. So if you don't have any unused locations to make a pile, you can also roll a die to select an arena from the list below. Rules. At the start of the game, before you draw your hand and mulligan, reveal the top card of the arena pile. This will be the only arena used for this game will have one of the following effects. So much like the challenge matches, you're going to add little bonuses, but you kind of get to pick which match you decide you want to play that game. This will give you a random bonus for every other game. So if you're playing at the left tunnel, when an evil character attacks, put a -1/-1 counter on it. Playing at the right tunnel, when a good character defends, put a +1/+1 counter on it. All out, all characters have Berserk. Double or nothing. Each time one or more of your characters attacks, you may flip a coin. If you do, you will win the flip. Each attacker will strike with double its attack this combat. If you lose the flip, each attacker doesn't strike this combat. Full gear, once per game. During the build phase, each player may choose an equipment from outside the game and play it for free, ignoring restrictions. Revolution. The phases of the game become main, build, ready, and draw in that order. So it kind of reverses them. Interesting. And then option. For more advanced players, when you reveal an arena, instead reveal a number of arenas equal to the number of players plus 1. Start with the first player. Each player then chooses to eliminate one of the revealed arenas. The remaining arena goes into play. Mix arena mode with these other modes. Check them out in the previous product for their card rules. A boss battle, story mode, 3-player game where each with a different arena. So cool. So like boss battles mean you have like one main character you're fighting against. It's like a 2v1 game. Story mode has you playing like you play a match, you play a mode of the game, and it says the condition is this. See who wins, right? And then whoever wins. If player A wins, they get this bonus for round 2. If player B wins, they get this bonus. But then it's the idea is like you play like match 1 at full gear, then you play story mode match 2 at double or nothing. So it adds just more layers to that, and that's a really cool idea. As a like 3-for-all and 2 versus 2. So I don't know if they have a list for all the other locations somewhere online. Or if maybe Board Game Geek, other players have come up with that for other games. But that would definitely be a neat thing for other modes as well. Like other things for other games to add in there. I just want to check in here. So I just did a quick look because like the newest set that just came out for this game is Protectors in New York, which is a Spider-Man theme. It's illustrated, so obviously you can't mix and match these together, but you can play one versus the other. So you could use the arena mode for both versions because one player could be playing an illustrated thing and one could be playing the other. It's just whatever world you're in. Be kind of crazy, but they have the same idea here, right? Shuffle up all these different things. This one, though, they changed it a little bit. It says collectively choose any number of locations, different names. This pile includes special locations without powers and basic lands. So don't include certain other ones for theirs. We also suggest you only include illustrated locations if at least one player has illustrated. Same with photographic. So you could have illustrated location only or photograph or both. It says rules, pick one of them, has the same idea. And it just says here, so they only have 2 special locations, like Daily Bugle and Oscorp. So it says, players build big, each player on the top 4 cards of their deck, put any number on the top or bottom of their deck, and Oscorp once per game. In their main phase, players can look at enemy's hand. So very interesting. So yeah, here it doesn't have any special rules for the basic ones. Sorry, okay, yeah, here, go to upperdeck.com/OPC effects of other locations. So cool. They did have a list for that. So that's kind of cool. That's a neat extra gameplay. You get challenge matches and that. This is actually really neat. So like if you play the photographic stuff like Marvel and that, and you don't care about having wrestlers and stuff mixed in, your whole idea is more I want the gameplay versus having thematic stuff, right? And you don't mind mixing, again, like, The Boys, or Alien or Predator, or Buffy the Vampire Slayer, or X-Files. And you just want, like, I want to have stuff fun. And again, if you're playing at home, you're not taking these decks to tournaments, or anything like that, you could potentially mix with, photographic illustrated stuff and the two different ones together if you really wanted to. That's your call. But this has some really neat other mechanics that I would, again, the challenge matches, some new equipment's kind of cool, though it's only mainly for these characters. But again, if you're mixing one of these groups with another one, you can have some really cool combinations. The tag team thing, that mechanic is really neat. Again, I hope they bring that, like, just as a team-up mechanic to Marvel. That'd be really fun. Yeah, so really interesting set, some new cool concepts in here. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If there's anything else you'd like me to check out, any other games, things like that, let me know. Hit me up in the comments. See you guys later. Bye.